Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. So here we are um, on the week 6th, sharing session for publication. So today I'm going to cover about another publication strategy, which is regarding how you can prepare with the results and analysis in terms of cleaning your research data and preparing for the data before you conduct analysis and reporting your results. And I'm going to show you some tips, in particular by using Microsoft Excel, how you can quickly clean and fix some of the data problems inside your data set. Okay, so basically we are at this 6th week. We are supposed to complete the 6 main sections, and it's actually the end of part 2 of the program, where we will we'll have to fill up a questionnaire at the end of this week, just to complete part 2 session. Okay, so next week we're going to start with the week 7. The aim is to complete the 7 main section, and actually we finally towards the end of the program. So in your paper, there is a main section, which is result and analysis section. Basically, this paper will require you to present the results and the analysis of the results, and also sometimes you also put discussion together. So it's important to report a reliable results. So in order to do that, it relies heavily on the quality of the research data that you used. So if you use survey data, even experimental data, usually we can put it into the spreadsheet. So if we are talking about survey data, you can use online survey tools like Google Forms, Survey Gizmo, SurveyMonkey, and etc. Right? And this data, in the raw form, will be entered into spreadsheet program like Excel, or you use Google Sheet, or even if you use SPSS, you have a statistical package to put your data before you can analyze them, or any other tools like BigQuery for further processing. So at the beginning, so the first step of to manage data is to clean it first. So why is data cleaning is important? Basically, we have to understand, data cleaning is the process of identifying problems inside the data set. Either it's incomplete, inaccuracy, there are irrelevant parts, so with the intention to make corrections on it, to do something about it. So data analysis should take place after you make sure that your data are clean, so that it will give the results that you want to present. So the aim is to build on accurate and strong result, right? So data quality is a very important step before you can go further, with your analysis, or even make conclusion based on your results. So validating and cleaning data can inform survey construction process, so that give you a clearer and more concise design in the future. So basically we have 3 steps of data cleaning, right? Starting for data collection, and then you do data cleaning in the middle, and then you will do the data analysis at the end. In practice, basically there are only 3 steps in data cleaning. First is spotting problems, second to evaluate problems, and finally to fix them. Spotting the problems means you try to investigate, you try to perform some detection or inspection on the data before you can decide how severe the problems are, and finally you can take action or based on the severity of the problem data set you have. So we have many types of tools for data cleaning. I think the one that are quite is by using the spreadsheet, okay, either Excel or Google spreadsheet. We also have other commercial data cleaning tool like Inzeta, okay, Cloud Data Prep by 3Factor, okay, and I also here list some of data cleaning tool available and the links where you can dig further. So Excel and Google spreadsheet, okay, all right, so this is beyond the statistical package, right? The tools beyond the statistical package that of course have more luxurious features that you can use. So Excel and spreadsheets, if you want to use it, there are some limitations that you should know, okay? Basically, Excel is limited up to 1 million rows and 16,000 columns, okay, in a single worksheet. This is still a lot, right? Google spreadsheet, okay, this is in the cloud, so it will not burden your desktop, but it's limited up to 5 million cells with maximum 256 columns, okay. So most common data problems that we have, okay, in our survey data, our research data, okay, could be one of these problems. You have probably missing values, okay, or there are lots of nulls in your results or in your survey. Partial or incomplete values, okay, respondents maybe didn't put a complete values as required, and the presence of duplicates, right, and misformatted, right, data in the wrong format, also caused by text encoding artifacts, okay, maybe the survey is on a different platform. When you transfer it in your spreadsheet, it becomes different, it becomes horrible. Unstructured data, okay, in particularly if you survey like trying to get content from the social media, okay, like the comments, images, videos, and it has to put in the proper structure first before you can analyze them. Data set with delimiter and offset issues also, this is something to do on the incompatibility of platforms. So we might face one of these or maybe more than one inside our survey data set, and we need to deal with it. Okay. So when your data first collected and entered into a particular format, okay, normally Excel, it is called as a raw data, okay, before it is properly cleaned and formatted. So usually this raw data consists of typos, illogical values, duplicate entries, undesirable data forms, and data points in no particular formats. So the first step, what you should do is you retain the complete copy of the original data saved somewhere, and also another version of data, which is the one that you want to clean it. Okay, so that if you have a mistake during the cleaning process, you can always go back to the original data set. So if you're using Excel, first thing that you need to check that you have you enable the data ribbon in Excel. Okay, so how to do this? Okay, usually you can go to the customize ribbon. Okay, I'll show you later in the demo. And what is important is for you to enable this data tabs here, right? So once you have your data set which is ready to be cleaned, in order to assist better view of your data, is we can freeze the top row of your data set. Okay, this can be done through your view menu, freeze panes, and freeze top row. Or you can select all the columns that you wish to include as a table, right? Usually we will highlight all the columns and then we make it as a table. So by doing so, you can the advantage is that you can manipulate, you can filter the data sets easier. also, if in the future you want to use the pivot table features, then your data is ready for that. So the advantages of putting your data set in a table format is that you can sort the entire table by the individual columns. So this can give a better view of your data sets by doing the sorting in ascending or descending order, or you can filter the data displayed by values, right? Or you can quickly view the range of values in a column to quickly check for nulls, blanks, or any outlier values. So this is a quick way by putting the survey data in a table format. So there are categories of data quality problems. Okay, remember there are 3 steps. You have to spot them first, and then you evaluate them, and then you take actions, which is to fix them. So this is the second stage where you want to evaluate, okay, how severe is it, the problems of your data sets. Okay, so we have basically 2 types, and another category basically can fall in either category. So type 1 is the easiest one, which is, it means that you can quickly fix a problem, like misformatted data, problem with the text encoding artifacts, or we have delimited or offset issues. This can be quickly done, okay, by formatting, okay, by changing the text encoding and removing delimiters and so on. But type number 2, it requires you to have additional information to fix that. Okay, for example, you have some missing data. Maybe you have to trace what the missing data is, right? And then you have to decide on what does the null value means. Is it really legitimate or illegitimate kind of nulls, right? And problems with the unstructured data. Okay, problems that could fall into either this category. It can be easy, it can be it can require you to take more information. It's either partial or incomplete values, right? Okay, maybe there are values which is incomplete that can be easily fixed, or some things that requires you to have more information about it, right? Same with the duplicates, right? If you can find the exact duplicates in your data set where all columns exactly identical, then you can decide to remove one of it, right? Which is easy, which is doesn't require you more information. But there are other types of duplicates that needs or requires you to think before you can delete it straight away, right? For example, maybe there are a set of rows, okay, that appears to be duplicates, but they are not exact duplicates. Maybe one of 2 columns are different. So how can you decide which rows to delete? Okay, you might have some risk of deleting the wrong rows, right? Maybe they are not duplicates at all, so it requires more digging, requires you to do more work before you can take action on it. So first of all, how we can deal with the blank rows or significant missing values. Okay, now we are already at the third stage, which is taking action with the problems that you find in your data set. So blank rows is problematic because it will give extra countings, right? Especially if there are significant missing values, there is nothing much you can learn from the results, but it's still there. So maybe you can inside the spreadsheet just Control A, and then you can try to search for the blank rows, but by doing Control A, it will only highlight the non-blank records. Okay, those who are separated with the blank records will not be highlighted. Okay, so in order to do this, quick fix is that you can highlight all rows and then go to Home, Find, go to Special, and then Blanks, and then you can delete the shade rows. By doing so, okay, you can fix all the purely blank rows from your data set. Okay, but you can also use the same step in order to detect for the significant missing values as well, and then you should decide whether you want to discard those rows, or you want to keep it, or you want to replace the missing values with something or some data which is meaningful. So we'll see further in the advanced topic of the missing values at the end of this sharing session. Okay. And then another problem with your raw data set is consists of lots of blank spaces, or it has mixed letter cases, okay, that can make readings very hard. So you can use okay, by trimming blank spaces, you can use trim function. This will remove the leading and trailing function. Okay, in order to change letter, okay, you can use proper functions. This will convert the text into the initial cap, okay, init cap. And also we have upper and lower to change cases to uppercase and lowercase respectively. Okay, duplicates. Okay, how you can deal with duplicates quickly, right? So in Excel spreadsheet, there is actually a tool for you to do this. Okay, what you can do is that once you have your data set, you go to the Home tab, and then you highlight all the cells, and inside data tools category, okay, there is a remove duplicate option there, right? Okay, and then you just click on it, and it will tell you how many duplicates that have been found in your data set, and if you agree, you can just remove it. Okay, so but the limitation of this approach is that you cannot see the duplicate first before you delete it. Okay, sometimes we just want to make sure first before we delete it straight away, right? So there is other way to do this. So another way to do this means that you want to check what the duplicates look like first before you can decide to delete them is by using the formula. Okay, so this requires an extra work where you have to create a new column. Okay, call as here, it names as dupe check here, right? And then what you do, you put a formula like this, right, to combine value from all cells that you want to check. Okay, for example, here equal cell A1 and B2 and C2, like this, right? So when you fill up a formula in the first cell, you can just drag it in order to apply all the formula for all rows over here. Okay, just drag the plus sign at the right bottom, and you mouse over your your pointer there, or you can just double click at the right bottom corner of the cell. Okay, and it will populate all the formula results in here. So once you do that, okay, you can check for duplicates, okay, by using the conditional formatting, right? And then you can, in the conditional formatting, okay, you have to highlight the columns first for you to check for the duplicates, and then you click on the duplicate values. What will happen is that it will highlight all the duplicates rows, okay, and then you can do some actions from there. Once you are satisfied, you can satisfied that these are the real duplicates, and then you just want to retain the original, or one version of it only. Okay. So what about typos, data errors, or data errors? Okay, typo is also a common problem, especially if you have your survey is designed not to have some validation on the inputs, right? So it's either misspelled, or it's really a mistake, okay, being put inside the survey. So you can do the eyeballing technique if the number of surveys is small, but if you have more than 50 observations, this will be time consuming for you to look at each cell one by one. So what you can do to detect some errors, okay, or typos inside your data sets by using the conditional formatting. This is achievable, okay. Conditional formatting allow you to highlight problems, okay, and it's the best way also to deal with typos or errors. This is accessible through your Excel home and conditional formatting. So I'll show the demo for the conditional formatting later. So deal with date format. Okay, this is also one of the common problems, which is a formatting problems, which is regarding to dates. Okay, sometimes when we transfer our data sets, okay, from different system to the spreadsheet, okay, we have the dates are being changed to some some forms that is hard to understand. Okay, so we can use the value functions to convert the original row dates into a consistent format, and then you can apply the desired format in a new column later. Okay, what about outliers? Okay, outliers is also one of the problem inside data sets. Okay, basically it is defined as a value which is 3 standard deviations away from the mean, okay, meaning that it is an extremely rare observation to see. So outliers can be caused by faulty data collections, okay, or it can be incredibly rare but valid values. So whenever you found outliers in data set, okay, don't simply delete it away. You have to decide whether this is a valid value first before you can discard it. Okay, but it's 3 standard deviations away from the mean. So you have to know the value of the mean first, and then you can compute the standard deviations, then you can detect outliers. So in either case, okay, this value can lead you to you astray during the data analysis process. Okay, if especially if you're using the mean. Okay. So how we can deal with outliers? Okay, basically we calculate a simple descriptive statistic to begin this analysis. So simple descriptive statistics like computing the mean, variance, standard deviation, median, okay, of each scale. So it can begin to gain general insight regarding the response patterns. So of course this is applicable to the numeric data types only. Okay? So this descriptive statistic is very useful for you to detect the outliers on the mean and other measures. So in this way, you can determine whether or not it's useful to analyze data with the outliers included, or you want to eliminate the outliers entirely from the analysis. So inside the Excel, there are functions that you can calculate to use. You can use to calculate the simple descriptive statistic as shown in this table. Okay, we have to calculate mean, there is the average function, okay, minimum value mean, maximum value max, standard deviation is SDGEV, and median, and so on. So outlier can be computed here, right? This is the formula. As I said, it's 3 times away from the mean. Okay, so if you want to calculate for outlier high, okay, the formula is by taking the mean value and then you add it with 3 times of the standard deviation. So for the outlier low, you can get the mean and minus 3 times of the standard deviation. Okay, so once you identify the values of the outliers, you can check for the values inside the dataset that match, okay, with the outliers values. Okay, so this is the definition of the calculation that I just described. Okay, next, how we can deal with the missing data. This is a type 2 problem, means that they are the kind of requires you to get more information before you can fix them, right? So missing data can be as simple as someone forget to type few letters in state name, like Melak. Okay, Melak should be Melaka, and then you can easily change that by use the find and replace function in the Excel. However, if the missing data is something that you can logically interpolate or infer, then you need to get more data. Okay, so now we have interpolation and inference, means you want to impute the missing data with some meaningful values. Okay, people, okay, other than ignoring the missing values, okay, we do data imputation, means we try to make the data set complete by replacing, okay, the blanks, the null values with some values which is more meaningful. So there are they call it as interpolation and inference. So of course these values are not always going to be 100% accurate, but you as a researcher know that sometimes you can infer and impute the missing values to produce a complete data set, and you know that the values is acceptable. Okay, so inference is about logically inferring what is missing value would be based on other values in the records. Okay, this is what it means, that it require additional information before you can take action. Okay, it's not just simply replace it by any values. Okay, sometimes other values in a row can give clues as to what a missing value might be. Okay, for example, if you know the zip code, right, and you can infer the city and state with a great accuracy. Okay, however, the inverse is not true, since zip codes are subset of cities and cities are subset of states, so that you have to be careful before you can make your inference. Okay, if it's as clear as that, you can use it and go ahead with it. Interpolation is usually used with numeric data in time series. Okay, this requires to use maths formula for you to compute or approximate the most likely value for you to put in the missing field. Again, sticking to the good enough doctrine. Okay, it's not going to be 100% perfect or accurate, but you can often get close enough. Okay, for example, you are taking a reading for daily temperature, okay, for 6 months, and then by examining the data sets, the previous data set, okay, you can know there is a range between the highest and lowest temperatures in the range, and they usually don't differ that much from day to day. So based on that value, you can try to interpolate, okay, the missing values inside the data set. For this kind of research, for example, they could be caused by the broken sensors, where you can have missing readings of the temperatures and so on. Okay, this is the cause of missing values in this case. And then you can create a formula that takes the temperature from 1 day ago and 1 day to the future of the missing value and try to average them. Okay, or in a simpler way to do this, you can calculate the average temperature per week and use that average value to fill out the missing records during each week. Okay. All right, so I think that's the end of the slide session. After this, I will show you some data cleaning demo by using Excel. So kindly, just a quick reminder, complete the questionnaire, okay, which I provided in a link in the slide for you to complete part 2. Okay, with that, thank you very much.